It's already signed. He found out from a fan. That's it. That's the whole opening line. Because by the time Papoose figured out what his own wife had quietly agreed to, the empire on the other side of the river was already booking her a glam team. Chili, sit down. Sit all the way down. Because the receipts are not whispering anymore. The receipts are sliding across the desk in a glass office in Manhattan, and the husband was not on the email, not on the BCC, not on the printer, and not on the prayer list. Okay, you guys. Y'all better hold on to your seats. Because this is not a rumor today. This is a relocation. This is a forwarding address. This is a moving truck pulled up outside the Bronx with the engine running and a G-unit chain dangling off the rearview mirror. And the cupcake loyal, he's still the husband crowd? They are about to crash out in real time. Loudly. With captions. From a hotel room with the wrong lighting. Before I unfold this folder for you, do me one favor. Tap that like, smash that subscribe, and ding the bell because this rundown has floors. Floors. A basement, a lobby, a mezzanine, and a whole penthouse with a notary on standby. Don't exit the elevator early. The dagger is on the top floor. Now baby, let's get into this. Because allegedly, and I am going to say allegedly so many times tonight, you are going to think it's my middle name, allegedly 50 Cent. Yes, that 50 Cent, the exact same boss Papoose has been subtweeting for 24 months like the man owes him child support, reportedly slid a folder of paperwork in front of Remy Ma. And it was not a feature. It was not a 16 on a posthumous mixtape. It was not a polite little guest verse with a Cash App tag on the back end. It was a full top shelf, multi-album, multi-vertical, Empire distributed, G-Unit branded relocation contract. With a carry handle. Carry. Handle. Pull up. And the husband on paper? The husband with the tattoo? The husband still tagged in last summer's anniversary post like a hashtag in the corner of a flyer? He learned about it the same way you learned about it. By scrolling. By thumb flicking. By accident. Sit with that. Sit with that. Sit with that. Now here's where my Tisa side kicks in, because we are not skipping the legal analysis. We are not skipping the PR analysis. We are not skipping the architecture. So pull your chair up to the desk because I actually went and pieced this thing together line by line. Allegedly, there are 3 levels to this paperwork, and the petty is buried in every single one. Level 1. Allegedly a brand new vertical inside the G-Unit ecosystem built around Remy Ma's name, Remy Ma's likeness, Remy Ma's catalog, Remy Ma's creative direction. Not a logo on the bottom of a press release. Not an embossed seal on the back of a CD nobody is pressing anymore. A whole department. An A&R desk that reports directly to her. A marketing line. A creative team. That is not a label deal, sweet pea. That is wife to CEO in one signature. One notary. One champagne pour. That is a coronation. Level 2. Allegedly a docuseries. And I do not want you to scroll past level 2 because this is the level that tells you exactly where this empire is steering the wheel. The docuseries reportedly co-produced by G-Unit Film and Television in partnership with what the production girlies are calling the BMF Production Family. Multi-episode. Theater grade. Bronx through the prison years. Prison years through the comeback. Comeback into the empire she's allegedly about to inherit. The kind of show that wins trophies. The kind of show that lives on a streaming homepage in perpetuity. The kind of show that turns a rapper into a brand, into a legacy, into a stadium. Level 3. Honey. Honey. This is where I had to set my cup down. Allegedly a publishing and management exit clause. In plain English, in human English, in non-lawyer English, that means whatever residual interest Win Records Network, or whatever the boutique is calling itself this quarter, has in Remy's catalog, her bookings, her brand partnerships, her likeness rights gets bought out. Settled. Quietly extinguished. As part of the close. So let me lay it out for the slow row, because Rubyside Energy says somebody in the back is still confused. First, y'all said he was the husband running the label. Now you're telling me he is not in the press photo, not on the call sheet, not in the acceptance speech, and not on the streaming carpet? Make up y'all mind. Either he is the empire or he is the footnote. And right now, allegedly, the timeline has already decided. He is a Knicks jersey footnote reposting Busta at 2 a.m. from a city he is not sure of. Crash out. Crash out. The whole industry is in a soft, slow-motion crash out, and the host of the show didn't even know he was on stage. Pause. 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 Let me rehook you for 1 second because I've been spilling for a minute and I need your eyes locked in for the part the casual scroller is going to miss. Because this is the part nobody else on this side of the timeline is dissecting. Stay with me. Now look at the photos. Look at them. Look at the resemblance between this rollout and every other G-Unit absorption we've ever seen. It is uncanny. It is almost a template. Because how did this story leak? Not on TMZ. Not in a glossy industry blog with a sponsored banner. Not on a podcast with a logo sticker. This story leaked the way every real deal shifting industry move leaks in 2026. Through a series of strategically placed Instagram stories that if you weren't 2 inches off the glass looked like absolutely nothing. Picture this. 3 days after the Planet Hollywood birthday flyer turned the timeline into a courtroom, an attorney, and not just any attorney baby, an attorney who has been stitching G-Unit deals together since a certain currency-themed mixtape went diamond on a CDR, posted a story of nothing. A coffee cup. Steam curling. One caption. One emoji. A small empress crown. That is it. No words. No tag. No location. No song. 12 hours later, Remy Ma's longtime manager posted a story of a contract on a desk with the wording deliberately covered. Just the corner. Just the edge of the signature line. Caption. 3 little diamond emojis stacked in a row. Diamond. 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 No song. No location. No name. 2 days after that, the boss himself, and I do not need to type his name because you already know which boss, posted one single sentence to his Instagram grid. Not a photo. Not a clip. Not a snippet. One sentence. When the deal is right, the talent comes home. Y'all. 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 You could not have written that more obviously if you hired a skywriter and circled Yankee Stadium for an hour. The talent comes home. The talent already has an address. The talent already has another man's name tatted on her forearm. Which home? By Friday morning, every A&R desk in Midtown was on a 3-way. Every real blogger, and there are maybe 4 of us, I will not name names, was sliding into group chats with a screenshot and a question mark. The industry already knew before the public knew because the industry talks in symbols, and the symbols were screaming. Pull up tight because we have arrived at the messiest layer of this onion. And in my professional opinion as the lead anchor of the Whisper Desk, this is the layer that is going to live in textbooks. How did Papoose find out? He did not get a sit down. He did not get a candlelit kitchen conversation. He did not get a courtesy text. He did not get a coded voice note. He did not get a soft launch from a publicist who likes him. He got a screenshot from a fan in his DMs. I am not embellishing. I am not seasoning the rice. I am simply repeating what the timeline is reporting, and the timeline, may I remind you, comes with receipts in 4K. A forensic Remy Ma fan account, one of those high-velocity hawk-eyed accounts that zooms in on every chain, every nail, every shoe, every flyer, allegedly sent Papoose a screenshot of that contract corner photo his wife's manager posted. And the alleged caption underneath was 3 words. 3 words. Bro, you good. That is how a grown, decorated, label-running mixtape legend, Bronx-born husband reportedly learned that his wife was about to sign one of the largest deals of her career, with the one man he had spent 2 years using as the protagonist of his storytime feed. A DM. With 3 syllables of polite pity. That is the receipt the streets are going to remember at his funeral. Bro. You. Good. I cannot. I genuinely cannot. Be the judge yourself. Be the judge yourself. Now let me walk you through the 48 hours that followed because the behavioral fingerprints, baby, the behavioral fingerprints tell the whole story without anybody confirming a thing. Hour 1. Silence. No post. No story. No like. No comment. And in 2026, that kind of silence from a man who normally posts 7 times before noon: Knicks anthem, gym mirror, mixtape teaser, motivational quote, label roster brag, throwback flyer, sponsored caption, that is not silence. That is a press release with no words. That is somebody dropping something in his lap he has not figured out how to caption yet. Hour 8. An old 2024 Knicks photo quietly appears in his story. Busta Rhymes tagged. Caption. Real ones never leave. Now, I'm paraphrasing because I want my channel to wake up tomorrow. But this is the playbook we have seen 100 times. When Papoose feels small, Papoose reposts old proof that he was ever big. That is not a new tactic. That is a tradition. That is a varsity sport in the Bronx. Hour 17. A roster update on the Win Records network page that nobody asked for. And when fans started zooming, 2 artists who reportedly have not been officially affiliated with that label in over 6 months were padded onto the page on a random Tuesday afternoon. Image management with a flashlight and a sledgehammer in the basement at midnight. We see it. The receipts desk sees it. I see it from here. Hour 26. A blurry, dimly lit Instagram live from what looks like a hotel room. I am not saying it was not his hotel room. I am simply noting that the lighting was not residential. The lighting was not, I am at home with my wife and our 4 children and the dog and the air fryer. The lighting was, I am perched on the corner of a king-size bed at a midtown property reassessing the last decade of my life. That was the wattage. 47 minutes. He talked about loyalty. He talked about how the industry forgets. He talked about how the streets remember the real ones. He did not mention the wife. He did not mention the deal. He did not mention the boss. He around it. 4:47 minutes. Like a guilty cousin talking around a missing remote at a family cookout. Hour 40. A boxing photo with Clarissa Shields reposted from an old training camp shoot. As if to say I still have something. As if to say I am still in the building. As if to say anything other than the truth, which is that the Empire walked right past his front porch and never knocked, never slowed, never tipped its hat. Now wait. I'm about to give you a brand new angle. The rest of the timeline has not connected yet, so do not blink. Because here is what nobody is saying out loud. Allegedly, and I am hearing this from a publicist whose other clients I cannot name without filing for new insurance, the boss's team reportedly placed a courtesy heads-up call to a second party in the Bronx camp before the husband ever saw a screenshot. Not his lawyer. Not his manager. A second party. Somebody close enough to be informed but distant enough to be deniable. Read that sentence again. Read it slowly. Because that is not an oversight. That is choreography. That is a calculated leak path. The boss did not just sign an artist. The boss reportedly engineered who got the news first, who got it second, and who got it from a fan account at 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. That, my friends, is not a label move. That is a chess move. And in my TISA investigative opinion, the husband was not just blindsided. He was last on the list on purpose. Pause. Sip your water. Rehook with me. Because the next layer is bigger. Here is what the casual scroller misses. This deal, if it actually closes, and we will get to whether it has actually closed, stay with me, is not just a music deal. This, in my professional opinion as the head reporter of the Whisper Desk, is a public divorce document wearing the costume of a press release. Because the boss does not just sign artists. The boss absorbs them. The boss puts them on streaming carpets. The boss puts them on film posters. The boss puts them on docuseries. The boss puts them on magazine covers. The boss puts them at his birthday dinners. The boss puts them in the buildings he owns, in the hallways he controls, in the rooms with no public address. So if Remy Ma signs that contract, and I keep saying if because my lawyer is on speed dial, every public moment for the next 5 years happens inside an architecture Papoose does not have keys to. Every red carpet. Every premiere. Every after party. Every magazine spread. Every podcast booking. Every awards ceremony. Every Power Universe cameo. Every grocery run paparazzi shot. He cannot DM his way onto a streaming carpet. He cannot repost his way into a production meeting. He cannot Nick Cannon his way into a film premiere. The doors are closed. The hallway is sealed. The Empire has its own gravity. And once she steps inside that gravity, she stops orbiting him entirely. She becomes her own moon. She becomes her own planet. She becomes her own sky. And the husband, standing on the lawn with a 2024 Knicks photo of him and Busta, is a man waving at a satellite. Okay. Let me ask the 3 questions the comment section is already typing because I can read y'all from here. Question 1. Has this contract actually been signed? Or is it still in the verbal handshake we mail it Monday phase? Because in the boss's universe, the difference between a handshake and a signature is sometimes the difference between a quiet Tuesday and a federal subpoena. And until the ink is dry, anything is possible. People back out. People get cold feet. People wake up at 3 a.m., look at their tattoo and decide the marriage is worth saving. Anything is possible. Allegedly. Question 2. What happens to Win Records Network the day this deal closes? Because if Remy's publishing exits, if her catalog exits, if her brand partnerships exit, if her likeness rights exit, the entire valuation of that boutique label collapses overnight. We are talking about a paper empire dissolving in real time on a single Monday morning. We are talking about a man waking up to a label whose biggest remaining asset is a framed photo of himself on the wall. That is the kind of devaluation that ends careers, ends labels, ends marriages, ends Wikipedia pages. Question 3. And this is the one I want you arguing about in the comments. What does the husband actually do? Does he sign the divorce paperwork quietly and walk into the sunset with whatever dignity is still on the dresser? Does he show up uninvited at a G-Unit event with his chest out and his lawyer on standby? I have seen that exact look in his eye in 3 separate Instagram stories this month. Does he record a diss track? Sweetheart, please. Please do not. The last one is still being discussed and not in the way you want. Does he sit down with a podcast and try to control the narrative? Probably. 3 guesses which podcast, and the first 2 do not count. Or does he plot twist, disappear for 6 months, vanish into a Bronx fog, and emerge with a comeback album nobody asked for but everybody plays once out of pure curiosity? Park your guess in the comments. Loop in the friend who has been calling this since the birthday flyer. Loop in the friend who argued you down. Loop in everybody. Hold up. Before I let you out of this room, you need the timeline context. Because I would be a bad anchor if I let you scroll without it. Go back. Go all the way back to last summer. Remember when a certain Bronx queen was suddenly no longer on a certain New York podcast? Remember the radio silence? Remember when the camp explained it with a polite little phrase? She is focused on her own thing. In this industry, in the year of our Lord 2026, that phrase is code. That phrase is industry sign language for, the contract is being negotiated, and we will inform the public when we feel like it. Now add to that. Reportedly, in the same window, a certain G-Unit executive was unusually back in New York. Not for a film shoot, not for a podcast, not for a red carpet, for dinners. A series of quiet little dinners. The kind of dinners that never make a blog. The kind of dinners at restaurants that intentionally do not maintain an Instagram presence. You know the ones. We all know the ones. The dinners where deals get whispered before they get written. And then, earlier this year there was a moment. One moment. On one red carpet. Where the boss and the queen ended up in the same photograph. Just one. They were not posing together. They were not touching. They were simply, reportedly, occupying the same 8 square feet of carpet for about 12 seconds. And in those 12 seconds the streets clocked it. The streets always clock it. The streets do not need a press release. The streets need a photograph and half a second of body language. And the streets received both. Meanwhile, while those dinners were happening, while that carpet moment was being clocked, while lawyers were reportedly drafting term sheets in the background, the husband was on a podcast. Talking about, and I could not invent this if I tried, talking about how his rap pen was still sharper than the new generation. While his wife was in a glass office getting a vertical built around her name, he was on a podcast unsheathing his pen game in front of a microphone with a sticker on it. Priorities upside down. Priorities in the wrong building. Priorities in the wrong borough. Priorities at the wrong damn altitude. Now let me read the audience temperature for you, because the comment sections tell you everything you need to know about where the streets actually live. And the streets, my friends, have already moved in. They are on Remy's side. They have always been on Remy's side. They were on her side when prison letters were being printed in magazines. They were on her side when she came home. They were on her side at the Verzoos when an entire borough wore her on their backs. The streets are painfully, beautifully, ruthlessly loyal. And what they are saying right now, loosely summarizing across 40 different comment sections, is one simple sentence. Let her eat. Let her go. Let her get her bag. Period. And 2 replies down in the same comment section, the streets are saying, that man should have read the room. The room had been loud for a long time. Every birthday flyer. Every guest list. Every podcast appearance. Every tagged photo. Every untagged photo. Every story reposted. Every story not reposted. The room had been screaming, and he was in his own room reposting Knicks photos. Now hold on. Because I would be a bad anchor if I did not give the other side of the timeline its airtime. There is a small but vocal faction in the comment section, a faction I respect even when I disagree, that believes this entire situation is theater, that the contract is choreography, that the Empress crown, the 3 diamonds, the one-line Instagram, the coffee cup, the contract corner, all of it is engineered marketing for a project dropping by the end of the year. And listen, I will give them this much. The boss has done it before. Allegedly. The boss has reportedly manufactured beefs, manufactured deals, manufactured headlines, manufactured entire news cycles for promotional purposes. So is it possible this is theater? Sure. Anything is possible. This is the same industry where a grown man faked his own death for a documentary trailer. But here is where the receipts desk plants its flag. Even if this is theater, even if the contract is choreography, even if the Empress crown was just a girl having a really good morning, even if all of that is true, the timeline has already moved. The timeline has already absorbed the story. The timeline has already decided, as of this morning, that the husband is the loser of this news cycle. And in this industry, in this economy, in this year of our Lord, perception is the only currency that matters. Whether the contract is real or not, the husband is already losing. Whether the deal closes or not, he is already standing on the lawn. Whether the ink is on the paper or not, the empire has already, in the public imagination, absorbed his wife. That is the part that turns this into a checkmate. The boss did not have to close the deal. The boss only had to start the whisper. And once the whisper started, the husband's public image was already on the floor. No contract required. No notary required. No public statement required. That is 40 years of game compressed into a coffee cup, 3 diamond emojis, and 1 Instagram caption. I am tired, and I am impressed. Those are not contradictory emotions. They live in the same apartment. So before I let you scroll, here is the part one want to leave on your tongue. Be careful what you tattoo. Be careful what you brand. Be careful what you build a logo around. Because in this industry, the ink fades faster than the empire does. The ink fades. The empire keeps moving. The boss keeps absorbing. The streets keep whispering. And me, I keep telling. The way I always do. Park your verdict in the comments. Does this deal close? Does she sign? Does he survive it? Is the whole show theater? Loop in the friend who needs to see this. Loop in the friend who said it would never happen. Loop in everybody. Set this comment section on fire. Tap that thumbs up. Smash that red subscribe pill if you're new around the whisper desk. Ding that bell so it goes off the next time the empire shifts a chess piece. None of this is personal. All of this is alleged. Every single word lives in the entertainment lane. The empire is moving. The husband is reposting. The streets are humming. And the receipts desk is signing off. Catch you on the next chess move. Pull up. Allegedly. Pull up. Allegedly. The empire is still moving. The husband is still reposting. The streets are still humming. The receipts desk is still signing off. Pull up. Pull up. Pull up. One more chess move. One more whisper. One more crown. One more diamond. One more coffee cup steaming on the right desk in the right borough on the right Tuesday. Allegedly. Allegedly.